Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 19 of Out of the Box. I am Joe Leonard, and I am with Pastor Bill Pyatt, Reverend Bill Pyatt.
Glad to be here.
Bill Pyatt, retired Pastor Bill Pyatt. We're going to talk all things The Chosen today. Bill's got a Bible study getting ready to start in a couple weeks, but of course, we got to do What's Up Gafunk first. Do you know the song? He knows the song. Yeah, so Bill is the one that watches every episode. We got one. So there's not a whole lot of announcements. There's a lot going on. We just had a bunch of stuff going on, the salad luncheon, amongst other things. And we have a few things that are coming up here in the next couple of weeks that I want you all to be aware of. First of all, this Sunday, September 25th, is our pet blessing. Oh. Pet blessing at 5 o'clock. It's going to be back by the prayer garden. We are going to bless all of the animals of God's kingdom. There is actually, I had found a liturgy online that was more, let's say, formal, because it involves communion.
Yeah, the Episcopal Church has a pretty elaborate.
Yeah, so there's one in the Methodist Book of Worship.
There is now, yeah.
So I got that one. So we're going to do most of that. It's not going to be very long. It's only going to be about 10 minutes or so. We're also going to have a photo booth. So if you want to get a picture taken with your pet, that would be awesome. That'll be available to you. So that's at 5 o'clock this Sunday, September 25th, out by the prayer garden. If it's raining, I don't think we'll do it. I don't really know.
Under the alcove.
We could do it, yeah.
Overhang.
You'll know by Sunday what's going to happen, but I think we're going to be good. The following Sunday, October 2nd, please keep in mind we have one service at 10 o'clock. It's not our normal fifth Sunday, but we're going to have Sold Out here. We had Jason on last week to talk about Sold Out. You can look them up at Sold Out Quartet, even though they're a trio. So, and Rooney's going to make her appearance. Hi, Rooney. Good to see you, of course. So Sold Out Quartet, you can go on YouTube. You can go on their website, hear some videos, watch some video, hear some songs. They are really, really good. You will not want to miss that worship service. It's going to be about 90 minutes long. It's pretty much their normal set, but included in that will be communion, because it is, of course, World Communion Sunday, and they have agreed to have communion with us.
So we'll be blessed.
We will absolutely be blessed. Immediately following that is the start of your thing, which we'll get to in a minute. Another thing I wanted to lift up, because many of you have asked, and we'll see if the same number volunteer, we have choir starting up. It's going to be October 19th. So we got a little bit of time still to prepare. La 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 la. Get your voices ready.
And that's on a Wednesday?
It's on a Thursday.
Thursday, okay.
It's on a Thursday because you have your thing on Wednesday. Yeah.
I took the prime spot, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
It's news you lose, buddy.
We are planning a Christmas program on December 18th that will involve a family choir. So those of you that have been at God First for a while think of the choir. No, it's anybody that just wants to come for a few weeks, do a couple Christmas songs. We're good to go.
So this is more of a joyful noise.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So it's open to all Godfrey First members, Ignite members, GPS members, United Methodist Women members, United Methodist Men, whoever you want, just come and sing. If you have some sort of affiliate, I don't want to get any strangers to come in, but
so I can't come
unless they can really sing, and then of course they can come. But we want it to be Godfrey First family and have a family choir. So what is planned on that program is the family choir will sing a couple songs. Ignite is going to sing a couple songs. We're going to have a bell choir sort of thing for a couple songs.
That'll be a Sunday evening service?
That'll be Sunday evening service on December 18th. Sherry Trusty, our new accompanist at 8:30, is going to have her harp there for a couple of numbers, so that alone will be worth it.
Yeah, come early, get a seat.
That's right. They will go fast. So, and then we'll have some combined number at the end. And then following that, we're going to have a potluck.
Oh, okay. I'll be there.
Yeah. With COVID pretty pretty much in the rearview mirror for the most part. I mean, it's kind of lingering around, but I think it's safe to say that we know how to manage it a little
Yeah,
bit.
I'm not kissing any boys for a
No,
while.
yeah, for a while you gave that up. So we're gonna have we, this is the first time I've been caught off guard. All right.
Rookie.
That's right. All right. So we're gonna run out of time. I know we are today. So that's on. Look how red I am. So on December 18th, 5 o'clock is going to be this awesome Christmas program, and then we're going to have a potluck following it. Also, just on a side note, that same day will be live nativity at early in the service. Okay.
Neat.
So there's all kinds of things going on. Make sure you're reading Barb's emails. Make sure you're on Facebook. Make sure you're calling people or just keeping in touch. There's really no excuse to not know what's going on. We let it. I mean, it's in the messenger. There's all kinds of information out there all the time. You might have to look for it if you're not really trying. But so there's that. All right. So we're gonna have a game today called. I should have known that. I should have known that. This feels like a game for you.
Okay.
I don't need my phone either. I don't know why I have that.
So
Okay.
it's worthless trivia then of some
It's
sort.
worthless trivia. And I went out and just picked out just a few random cards. What is the name of the Little Mermaid?
Let's see. Belle was in the
Beauty of the Beast.
Beauty of the Beast. Ariel.
Ariel, that is correct. You do know that. How many lives is a cat said to have?
9 lives.
9 too many. Not a cat person. Joe is not a cat person. All right. What number is on the opposite side of the number 6 on a standard die?
3.
Is it really? Nope, 1. I don't know.
6. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. I knew that.
It's 1.
Yeah.
You should have known that.
Yeah, I should have known. Smarter than a 5th grader.
What is the smallest breed of dog in the world?
Well, the one of the smaller breeds I know is the Chihuahua, but
That's it.
no kidding.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. Longest name, shortest breed.
That's right. What's the official language of Brazil?
Portuguese.
It is Portuguese. I did not know that. I just assumed Spanish for some reason. What does the acronym LOL stand for?
Laugh out. Laugh out. Wow.
Laugh out. That's right. All right. How many bones are in the human body?
Oh gosh. 907.
There are 206. You were close.
Well, I've got broken bones.
How many bone fragments are in your body? All right. What sport is depicted on the logo of the fashion brand Ralph Lauren?
Polo.
Polo, that is correct. All right. Julius Caesar supposedly said, Veni, Vidi, Vici. What does this
I
mean?
came, I saw, I conquered.
I came, I saw, I conquered. Very
Latin,
good.
freshman year.
You know, I don't think Latin's a thing anymore. It should be.
Well, it's taught less often, but it's great for helping you figure out the craziness of English.
I agree. Because honestly, I think English is the hardest language to
you
learn.
know, how do you say carpe diem without knowing Latin?
Seize the day.
E
You gotta know
plurimis
it.
unum, the South will rise again.
But when our kids went through, oh, she's not here anymore.
I'm right here.
Oh, did our kids, were they offered Latin?
No.
I think it was just Spanish and French and German, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day,
Back in the day. All right. What jersey number did the Canadian ice hockey player Wayne Gretzky wear?
number 7.
It's number 99.
Okay.
Baseball fan over here. He doesn't know hockey. Yeah. Oh, here's a good Don Beam question. If Don Beam is watching, what is plastic made of?
Petroleum.
Yep. Petroleum, crude oil. All right. There have been 4 U.S. presidents who have been assassinated while in office.
Well, Lincoln would qualify.
Lincoln does qualify as one of the 4.
McKinley.
McKinley is one.
And two other old guys.
There's one old guy and one in your lifetime.
Kennedy.
Kennedy, yep. And then James Garfield.
Oh, yeah. I should have known that.
Yep. What was Excalibur?
I sat behind
you should
him in
have known
second
that.
grade, so yeah.
What was Excalibur in the Legend of King Arthur?
What is Excalibur, the sword?
Yeah, the sword. Yep.
Yeah. The caliber, I don't know what size it was, but it was Excalibur, the sword.
Yeah. What
Do you know what you're reading?
Not really.
Are you prepared for this, Joe?
I prepared for minutes on this. What do you call a word or phrase that reproduces the letters of another word or phrase in a different order?
Oh, gosh. I was ready to say onomatopoeia, but I don't know what the other one is.
Anagram.
Anagram. Oh, okay.
All right, we're going to wrap up because we have a lot to talk about. What does the company Ben & Jerry's produce?
Ice cream in Vermont.
Ice cream.
I've been to their headquarters.
Have you really? How
Yeah.
cool is that?
It is way cool.
We got to make a trip to Vermont, Sue.
Okay.
We love
It's
ice
worth
cream.
it just for the Ben & Jerry's.
I bet. All right, so we have Bill here to talk about The Chosen. That's the biggest reason why you're here, because that's coming up on October 2nd. But I also want it for people that don't know who you are.
Their loss.
I agree. Besides the guy that heckles the pastor every Sunday.
And he apparently enjoys it.
He does enjoy it. He does. He's so nervous up there. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
He
Yeah.
is very nervous up there and does not like to be thrown off his game, which I like to do. And you do too as well. It's fun
It's a gift.
to see the pastor flustered. So why don't you talk about where you were born? No, we don't have to go back that far. if
I
you
was
don't want to.
born.
Talk about your ministry, how you were called, and then just a couple of churches that you were part of, and what led you here to Godfrey.
Well, part of it is our family moved to Godfrey in the summer of '66 when I was going into 8th grade, and Marcia Thornton and her sisters were very welcoming to us. And so after one Sunday morning and one Sunday youth group, my older sister and I said, Mom, Dad, you can go wherever you want to. We're staying at Godfrey. They had a party for us first time we came to youth group. So grew up at Godfrey Methodist, later Godfrey United Methodist, when it was back on Grace Street. I felt very comfortable with that kind of connection. Active in Sunday school, active in youth group. I was acting in scouting there, and went off to college to get a biology major. And my focus was to be involved in environmental management. Came home from school. And some of the doors that I thought were going to be opened were not. So I got a job at the flour mill in downtown Alton.
I have never met anybody that worked at the flour mill.
Yeah, a lot
there.
of really great guys and a few wise asses have worked there. And I was actually hired.
Can
by
you say wise?
No.
I'm sorry.
Betsy Arnold's daddy hired me.
Oh, really?
Dwight Rule.
Wow.
I worked there for a couple years, and while I was doing that, I was helping out with the youth program under Bill Leckrone when he was the master there. And over a 2-year period, I felt kind of the nudge and an urge, and tried to figure out what was going on. And the final thing I did to kind of get some clarity is I enrolled in the lay speakers program at the Methodist Church to see if that was what I'm being nudged to do. And by the end of that 8-week program, I realized I was called for ministry, whatever that is, called for ministry. And went into Dwight and said I need a leave of absence because I want to go to seminary. I want to explore a call to ministry. And Dwight said, well, I'll give you the leave of absence, but I don't think you're coming back. I was wondering when you were going to recognize something's going on.
Yeah.
And went to seminary.
Isn't that weird? I'm sorry to interrupt, but isn't it weird how
Others see
people recognize it before
Yeah.
you do? Yeah, I've had people approach me the same way.
Yeah. I went and told some of the faculty at Monmouth College the spring before I was enrolled at Eden Seminary, and they said, well, I was wondering when you're going to figure this out, Bill. 'Cause attended Eden for a year, had a great experience there, but it wasn't going to offer what I thought I really needed to sharpen the skills that I really wanted to have. So transferred out to a Methodist school in Ohio, in Delaware, Ohio. And it was a good move because moving to Ohio is when I met Brenda, my wife, blind date. And the senior pastor where I was working as the youth pastor said, "Oh, we have this friend. She's got a boxcar load of personality. You really need to meet her." And I thought that was code for she's kind of homely, but would you go out with her? And boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
And on the third
And they
date,
told her you had a box load of
no,
personality.
they said he's a wild hare. Be careful. And on the third date, we decided to get married.
Wow.
It took us a year and a half to work our schedules together because she was living in New York, and I'm near Columbus, Ohio. But summer of 1980, hottest day of the summer on the campus of the seminary.
Wow.
And then served for 42 years. We got married my junior year. I came home after my senior year, and then served 42 years in Illinois, and then retired in the summer of 2020. And we bought a house in Godfrey, so I'm able to return to the congregation that I grew up in, which is pretty exciting.
Right.
And by moving to Godfrey area after we were in East Alton and Bethalto, she was able to keep her hairdresser and her doctor in a grocery store, so she was pretty happy about some continuity.
Two very important things, right, dear?
You got to have,
Yep.
She had said she was tired of being the new girl all the time. Because every time you move to a new town, you got to
Right.
make. And so Godfrey was convenient. She kind of recognized that our adult children live in St. Peter's and in the city. So we can see them. And Godfrey is a pleasant and affordable place to live.
I like the area.
And,
we're born and
I'm
raised
having
here.
fun getting reconnected. I was high school classmates with Dennis Hammond and Barb, and it's fun to kind of re-engage in that process. And every so often, someone will tell me, "Oh, I remember you when," and I don't know what they remember. And
Only good stuff, I'm sure.
It's what they remember.
Yep.
Yeah. I've never been as shy and retiring as you, and or maybe I am as shy and retiring as you are. But so we're delighted to be part of the Godfrey congregation, and I'm looking forward to an opportunity to sharing with folks in the congregation and perhaps their friends and neighbors the viewing and discussion of a TV series. It's not broadcast on TV, but it's a TV format called The Chosen.
Yeah, they released it kind of weird because there's a Chosen app
Right.
that you can go to, and you can view the whole series just through this app.
Yeah, on your phone, or you can SmartCast it to a TV.
Right.
Or if you don't like that technology, you could buy the DVD. and put it
DVD, what's that?
Yeah.
No, nobody watching this doesn't know. I
Yeah,
mean, everybody
yeah,
that watches
yeah.
our program
And
knows
then
what a DVD
for the
is.
old codgers, you could even buy a book that's based, a novel based
Wow.
on the script that Dallas Jenkins wrote. And it's engaging. It is way better than the typical movie about the Bible, because the characters are fleshed out.
Okay.
And that's, I think, the fun part. Now, there's some caveats. They introduce some characters that are not in the Bible. But those characters and their interplay with the disciples help to flesh out who the disciples may have been. Because the Bible provides very little detail about the disciples. Names them. Some of them only get a name. Doubting Thomas, but it gives you an idea of how their life was before they met Jesus and how it was changing. And the good part is they still squabble and disagree like you do with your friends and your neighbors. So the disciples begin to take on a more real character. And I think it's easier to imagine what it would feel like to be someone who was chosen to follow God, and how totally unprepared the disciples were to be chosen. They were a motley group
Oh, yeah.
who messed up all the time. They didn't get it, and Jesus said, boys, we need to work on this a little more because there's some important work for you, and you may have to change your image of who God is and what God wants from you, and I think that's relevant for today. So I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah,
about
we actually
this.
just talked about something very similar in youth group this week about blessings and how it appears to us that some people are more blessed than others, yet in God's eyes, we're all equal.
Yep.
We're all equally blessed.
Yep.
And that our whole series is called Attitude Adjustment.
Sure.
So that takes a huge attitude adjustment to recognize those kinds of things.
And the people who may appear to be blessed, you're not aware of the struggles and disappointments in their lives because
Oh, sure.
you're not in their life, and you don't most of us learned what we've learned by making 100 mistakes along the way. And we may not be able to name all those false starts and mistakes, but if we're lucky, we learned from them. But no one, right out of the box, figured it out.
Right.
And so it's very appropriate. I like this series because I think our church members may grow from it, but more importantly, I think it gives them a chance to invite their neighbor or their coworker or the cousin who says, I don't care for this church crap, to understand it's Jesus is calling the unqualified and the unworthy to become a follower. And the characters in the show are just as unqualified and unworthy as we are. And yet, Jesus had a place for them.
I started to watch one episode. This has been about a year or so ago.
It's been out 2 years now.
Yeah, so I started to watch one episode, and I got to the point where, like, I bet Susan want to watch this too. So I stopped watching it, and then we never got back to it. Rooney, go on. And that sound you heard was Rooney enjoying a peanut butter bone, which smells delightful up here. But yeah, it looks very interesting. Now there are 2 seasons.
2 seasons have been filmed, and they've had the funding for the third one. I think the intention is to have 4 or 5 seasons.
Okay.
But it's all based on what kind of fundraising Dallas Jenkins was able to do for this. And I watched some of the behind-the-scenes talks with Dallas, and I don't know if I agree with all that his vision is, but I agree with enough of it. And I think it's appealing, and it has a sense of realism that previous biblical movies lacked because they tried to only use the text from the Bible, and the dialogue in the Bible is really stilted.
Yeah.
But I don't think people, even 2,000 years ago, when they talked to their friends and neighbors, had a stilted way of talking. But when you want to record something down, you kind of condense it. I think it's engaging. Some evangelicals are upset because it's not true to the Bible, and he's pretty upfront. I'm not trying to reproduce the Bible. I'm trying to help people engage in the Bible story.
Right.
This is pretty interactive down here.
So the options are putting them in a kennel or outside, and then the noise will. Yeah, we should just start filming somewhere else.
Yeah.
Honestly. So the series though is based on just the first season.
So I'm going to
think,
do
or-
the first season,
Okay.
8 episodes. So we're introduced to Jesus. We're introduced to Simon and his brother Andrew. We're introduced to Matthew. We're introduced to some other Roman characters that are not specifically mentioned in the Bible, but help set the context for the disciples. And Mary Magdalene, you get a sense of what may have motivated, what tormented Mary and what motivated Mary. And then in season 2, they start adding some of the flesh out more, introducing more of the disciples. And one of the best parts, one of the things that tickles me, Jesus' cousin was John the Baptizer. And he's from, so they're from the same area. And Simon and Andrew are also a cousin to John the Baptizer, but Simon calls him, oh, you mean Creepy John? So his contemporaries thought it was kind of an odd duck. And Simon calls him, oh yeah, Creepy John. And, which is the kind of guy interplay folks
Right.
do.
Well, I hope so. On November 6th, we are accepting new members into the church, and we're going to have some new confirmands come
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
And I know we have at least one being baptized, I believe. But I
Cool.
hope they don't walk up there and say, "Creepy Jay."
Yeah. Well, and the statue outside in the prayer garden, it's a little bit creepy
It's
too.
Creepy Jesus. We have called him Creepy Jesus.
And it's a term of endearment.
Yeah, that's right. So remind everybody when this is offered.
So we're going to offer it on Sunday mornings, eventually between the services. So after first service, 9:30-ish, 9:40-ish to 10:30, 10:40. And then the same material will be presented on Wednesday nights at 7. I'm doing it because some people are morning people and some people are evening people. And some people are worried if they're gone a Sunday where they miss out, where they can make it up by coming to Wednesday.
Right.
If you miss Wednesday, you can come to Sunday, but you'd have to time travel to.
Right.
And it's not so much. If you missed a week, you wouldn't be lost.
No, because it's if you get the app, you can watch it on your own.
Watch it, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So we're going to watch the episode and discuss it and react to it. The first couple episodes are shorter. As you get deeper into the season, they get longer. At some point, we'll have to make a decision. What do you do when the episode is 55 minutes long? We have an hour set aside, but we'll figure it out. And it may mean that I don't know, we'll figure it out. But it's engaging.
Yeah.
And I think folks will find themselves attracted to the Jesus that's presented and find themselves identifying with the foibles of the disciples and other followers of Jesus and say, well, geez, if those clowns can do it, maybe there's a place for me too.
Right. We're looking forward to it. Because of everything we do on Sunday morning, Susan and I are going to go on the Wednesday night one, and I can't wait for it to start. And I'm excited enough about it that I'm scheduling choir practices on Thursdays.
Wow.
We've had
Leverage.
we've had it on Wednesdays for a year. Well, we haven't had it for a couple of years, but looking forward to it. And then
So this
Wednesdays,
will run up to the weekend before Thanksgiving. So the goal was to be done before you go for Thanksgiving. And we're about in Ohio for Thanksgiving. I don't know if we'll be back for that Sunday. Every year, all my life, Brenda's family gathers at the family farm. So I think, married 42 years, I think 90% of our Thanksgivings have been at the family farm, hearing the family stories. And but it's a blessing.
yeah,
But I don't want people to feel like they got to rush back to get the final episode. If we end up going long, we'll wait until December to finish it up. And then if people like it, then we'll talk about how to do season 2.
very cool. So we have just a couple minutes left. Got to talk Cardinal baseball.
Good.
So I'm glad you were able to find time to come meet because Cardinals are on the road, as you can tell. And you're not going to San Diego, I assume, to watch them.
Not this time.
So you go quite a bit. Do you have season tickets, or is there a group that has season tickets, or do you just say?
I have a colleague who serves at the United Methodist Church in Columbia, who was in my youth group 100 years ago. And Alan has season tickets, and occasionally his wife doesn't want to go, and I get to go.
Gotcha.
I bought, back in April, tickets to most of the day games because that's a little easy. And so some of the other retired pastors go. And occasionally someone says, I got an extra ticket. You want to go tonight? I'm all over it.
Absolutely. So
I've been to 20 or 25 games this season.
wow. I've been to one, and that was enough. Rooney, come on. I just like the comfort of my own living room and
Well, yeah, the Barca Lounge is pretty hard to beat, yeah.
yeah,
And apparently the concessions are cheaper at home.
a little bit. They are a little bit cheaper. Rooney is definitely determined to make her way onto camera.
Hey.
You're committed if you throw. So yeah, it's been a fun run at Cardinal baseball this year.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. I know you go with pastors a lot. I often see when you post you're with 2 or 3 other pastors and all that. So
No ne'er-do-wells.
And Pastor Jay has been converted.
All of a sudden, he takes an interest in baseball.
Not just he wasn't a fan of well, he wasn't a fan of baseball. He just became one. He bought a hat.
well,
Did he show his hat at church Sunday?
Yeah, he did.
I told him.
I took him to a River Dragons game, and the price is right for River Dragons. Take your
Absolutely.
family. And then take him to a couple Cardinal games, and so he's got his own red Cardinal cap.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
It's a delightful fantasy life. You know, as a kid, my fantasy was playing on the World Series team and either getting the final out or hitting the winning home run. And that opportunity has passed me by. So I have to do it vicariously through other people.
I used to have in our basement. It wasn't a finished basement. I put a tape box up on our brick wall,
Sure.
our concrete wall in the basement, and I would
Work
throw.
on your pitch location.
Yeah, it was way up here, so every pitch was technically a ball. I think, but I threw tennis balls at it. I did that all the time. I played catch with myself in the backyard. Yeah, baseball is a very cool sport. It's the summer. I mean, it's the background of summertime. Every time
It is, and
it's
for a
on.
lot of folks, it is it was a family bonding time. I mean, I used to fall asleep listening to Jack and Harry.
Oh yeah,
And folks took us to games. We moved here the summer of '66, so '67 and '68 were pretty prime times to be cheering for the Cardinals.
right.
And then on my son's 18th birthday, I got tickets to the World Series, and we saw them beat the Detroit Tigers on his birthday.
Wow.
He said, "I don't think it gets any better than this. You go in the World Series on my birthday." And
I happened to be working in downtown St. Louis when they built this current stadium. So I was down there every day for the progress, and that was very cool to watch. And
yeah, it was
see.
amazing how they knocked down part of the stadium to build the stadium.
yeah, and then we went to a game over Labor Day weekend. Our kids were in town and wanted to go see Yachty and Wayno. And
Did you get up high enough so you can see the whole field?
We were, yeah, you already know that. We were as high as you could go. Those weren't the tickets I thought I bought.
You get the best breeze up there.
It was high. It was really cramped. It was cramped. It was not the best seats.
Yeah.
But we got to see Wayno and Yachty again, and of course Pujols came in. They won that game. Pujols didn't have a home run, but it was amazing ballpark village. Everything that they have done since I was there last. It's amazing atmosphere, and I know people around the country hate Cardinal fans just like we hate Patriot fans and other fan bases. But it's a great atmosphere.
It's quite a phenomenon. It's a rallying point for the community. It's a common language in the community, and it's the kind of stuff you can go and have a pleasant afternoon, have a little conversation, and then have memories for a lifetime.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're 3 minutes over.
Okay.
But people have been mesmerized by our conversation, I'm sure. They want more. We're going to have you back. There's a lot of church stuff that we are going to start getting into at church. Jay and I have talked about this. We want to wait for really the right time to get into some of it. And I know you're going to be a guest for some of that.
I have some history and I have a perspective on where we're going. I don't have a magic crystal ball, but we've had other family feuds in the Methodist Church and lived to talk about it. And a family feud does not necessarily make us a weaker congregation, but it's okay to kind of see some of the signs along the road. And I'd be glad to share my perspective, and people can disagree if they want.
We will absolutely have you back for that.
Can the dogs come?
They will not be coming. We will not record. Those will be, those will not be here. So The Chosen, it starts October 2nd, immediately following the sold out concert. Then the, session 1B will be on that Wednesday. And then at 7 o'clock, that's church. And then starting on the 9th, it'll be at 9:30 on Sunday, 7 o'clock on Wednesday.
Right.
About 8 weeks long. It'll wrap up. Your plan is before Thanksgiving, so we can get into an Advent thing maybe. But if not, we'll go into it. I think people are.
Let's be flexible.
I think people are excited about it. I know I am. Looking forward to doing it. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
That is Out of the Box, episode 19. For my producer Susan, for the dogs in the audience, For Pastor Bill Pyatt, I'm Joe Leonard. Blessings, Godfrey.